See, it's kind of hard to take someone seriously when they're talking about preserving freedom, when at the same time they're trying to take someone else's freedom away. My name is Sham Sharma. Welcome to the Sham Sharma Show. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Sham Sharma Show. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. So the USCIRF, or the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom, is a US governmental body that ostensibly is working towards preserving religious freedom across the world. And they've been very vocal against India recently. See, the USCIRF is a very interesting governmental body in the United States because it was started in the 90s with the explicit aim of furthering Christianity, as was described in the 1997 report entitled United States Policies in Support of Religious Freedom, focus on Christians. So the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom, they've been very vocal against India, and they've been very active in trying to target India over some of the policies that India has taken in the last couple of years. So the USCIRF falsely criticized India by citing fake reports that coronavirus patients were being segregated on the basis of religious identity in an Ahmedabad hospital. I feel like that's such an easy thing for a governmental agency to properly verify before they go making statements. Like, it was obviously fake. It was obviously not correct. You could have easily verified this, but you didn't. And even the Indian government had to reprimand them. The Indian government was like, bye. The USCIRF has also carefully suppressed the truth that the Citizenship Amendment Act in India that was passed in 2019 is meant to grant asylum to those who face religious persecution in 3 specific countries and applies to those who arrived in India from those countries before the end of 2014. So they have constantly lied about India. They've constantly attacked India over the Citizenship Amendment Act, about how it's super discriminatory, how it's Islamophobic, when at the same time, America also has a provision called the Lautenberg Amendment, which is very similar to the Citizenship Amendment Act. According to the Lautenberg Amendment, Jews, Evangelical Christians, and Ukrainian Catholic and Orthodox religious adherents identified in the Lautenberg Amendment, based on the annual statutory renewal of the Lautenberg Amendment, these individuals are considered under a reduced evidentiary standard for establishing a well-founded fear of persecution. This provision, this Lautenberg Amendment, is very similar to the Citizenship Amendment Act in many ways. So with what right is the USCIRF criticizing India while it itself has a provision like the Lautenberg Amendment? The USCIRF also falsely claims that the law targets Muslims within India and reduces them to the state of second-rate citizens. USCIRF also conceals the fact that India's law is consistent with the laws and practices of the United States, United Nations, and the European Union. So when you ask USCIRF these questions, though, they're all like... So you may be wondering that despite India building a good relationship with Donald Trump, why is the USCIRF still lying about India and is still attacking India? See, there are many governmental agencies that have a great deal of autonomy in the American governmental system, and Donald Trump can't really control these agencies. They're much more powerful than Donald Trump in certain ways. So in a little over 20 years of its existence, USCIRF has had 54 commissioners. Among these commissioners, there have been 2 bishops, an archbishop, a cardinal, a president of American Baptist churches, a president of both the Eastern Baptist Theological Seminary and the Christian group World Vision, a minister of a Methodist church, an editor of the Christian Post, who was also a commissioner of the Southern Baptist Convention, and the president of Southern Evangelical Seminary.
That's crazy. I have just one thing to say to you.
What the fuck? How are these people supposed to ensure religious freedom? Many of these organizations have supported conversion therapy. Many of these organizations openly support discrimination against LGBTQ people. Many of these organizations fight for the right to refuse service to LGBTQ people based on the idea of religious freedom. This also became a huge case in the United States when a Colorado baker refused to bake a cake for an LGBT couple that were getting married, citing his religious beliefs. This is crazy. Like, imagine if the person was black and he was denied service service in a restaurant or in a bakery. That would be huge news because that is illegal in the United States. You cannot legally discriminate against a person based on his race. And the reason provided for that is that race is an immutable characteristic. It is something about yourself that you cannot change. Similarly, your sexuality is an immutable characteristic as well. Your sexuality, being gay or being straight, is something that you cannot change about yourself. That's just who you are. So why is it not okay to discriminate against someone based on their race, but it's considered okay in many circles to discriminate against someone based on their sexuality in the name of religious freedom? That makes no sense at all. And these are the people that have been entrusted by the United States government to ensure religious freedom across the world. Let's take a look at some USCIRF ambassadors as well. Some of the current USCIRF ambassadors are people that have worked with the biggest evangelical organizations. For instance, Tony Perkins, according to the LGBTQ advocacy group GLAAD, is the most recognizable anti-LGBTQ activist in America. He has espoused the most extreme views of LGBTQ people and other vulnerable communities. The idea that Perkins would be making policy recommendations to an administration that is already anti-LGBTQ is dangerous and puts LGBTQ people directly in harm's way. Human Rights Commission also noted about another USCIRF ambassador, Gary Bauer, and said that Tony Perkins and Gary Bauer have devoted their careers to limiting the legal rights of LGBTQ people to live their lives openly and honestly. In America, LGBTQ people would be forced to hide who they are or face criminal sanction. Their relationships would be unrecognized, their children would be taken away, and LGBTQ youth would face harmful conversion therapy. For decades, these men have led the opposition to equality, and now they couch their anti-LGBTQ policy agenda under the guise of religion. For the Trump-Pence White House to nominate them to this position is insulting to our core American values and ignores the reality of the vast majority of Americans who believe religious freedom and equality are not only compatible but essential in the 21st century America. Another ambassador, Nadine Menza, is someone who has worked for Rick Santorum's organization. Rick Santorum is a former presidential candidate who has openly spoken out against gay marriages. How the hell are these people involved with an organization that is supposed to stand for religious freedom? Like, how are these people involved with anything that involves freedom? What the fuck? It is very interesting because religious freedom has become code for discriminating against people. The discrimination that would be considered openly bigoted in any other situation. For instance, in India, you cannot discriminate against the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes on the basis that it's your religious freedom. That's not legal in India anymore. That's been made illegal. You can't talk about religious freedom and then take away someone else's freedom when they did nothing wrong. I think that the American government should not support or be involved in any way with people that advocate discriminating against people based on their immutable characteristics like race or sexuality. So it's hilarious that these are the people that are lecturing India about discrimination. It's like someone that abuses their wife giving a seminar about how to have healthy married relationships. See, another reason that they may be speaking up against India so much recently is that missionary organizations, evangelical organizations, especially American evangelical organizations, spend a lot of money in India. And they often use very fraudulent methods to convert people in India. See, because the thing is, Christianity is suffering big losses in the West. And so the only way that they can maintain and grow their numbers is if they take up massive conversion activities in Asia and Africa. Countries like China or Islamic countries won't allow them to do anything. So the only countries that they pretty much have left are open democratic countries like India. And USCIRF, by constantly attacking India, by constantly lying about India, is basically in a way providing cover fire to these evangelical organizations. And they're kind of trying to build pressure on India to loosen its FCRA regulations under which they can allow even greater funding for these evangelical organizations in India. And that is why it's so difficult to take an organization like the USCIRF so seriously, because they're an organization that talks about freedom when their commissioners themselves have advocated for removing and taking away other people's freedom. Like, how am I supposed to take that seriously? So let me know what you think. Why do you think the USCIRF has been lying about India and has been so vocal against India? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Once again, guys, if you liked today's episode, make sure to leave a like, leave a thumbs up. It helps me out. It helps the channel out a great deal as well. If you'd like to support the Sham Sharma Show, make sure to become a patron of the Sham Sharma Show. Click on the Patreon link in the description down below. Become a patron. You will get the brand new mugs of the Sham Sharma Show, and you will get access to the WhatsApp and Discord servers of the Sham Sharma Show as well. If you like the Sham Sharma Show, if you like what we do here, if you like today's episode, and if you still haven't subscribed to this channel, what are you doing? Click the button right here. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to press the bell icon as well. And we have videos here and videos here that you should go check out as well. I'm sure you'd like them too. I will see you for the next episode. And until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys soon.